Hello, everyone. We are live, talking a lot of stuff happening right now. Today, in particular, BAFTA Longlists came out earlier today. We will be talking about that. We'll also be the guilds. The SAG nominations are next Wednesday, I believe. The DGA is also that day, I think, and then the PGA is the day after. So we're giving you our guild predictions for all of those after we go over the BAFTA Longlists. But yeah, busy week. And before we get into it, hello to everyone joining us. Just came from Oscar Buzz popping in for a second. And we have some super chats, our first ever super chats, I think, during a live stream. So thank you so much, Jordan, for the super chats. Little celebration, celebrate that. He says, is Domingo campaigning lead or supporting for Color Purple at the Oscars? I think he's going supporting, but I think he's more likely to get in for Rustin than Color Purple at this point, to be honest. And the other one, I was expecting Catherine Hunter shortlist, I imagine, for the BAFTAs. Very unlikely, but I could still see a surprise nomination at the Oscars. I would love that. She's great in Poor Things. I honestly, she was even better in Tragedy of Macbeth. But I don't think she has enough within that film to probably end up making it in there. But she was great in it, so I agree. But yeah, are you ready to get into the BAFTA long lists here, Anthony?
Yes, I feel like they're not as long as they usually are. I feel like this was
a little shorter.
A little bit shorter. And I think they were pretty expected. There were like one or two big things that we're going to talk about that I think are really interesting as far as the campaigns and where certain movies and the pockets of awardship really rise and fall, and the history of the BAFTAs we'll get into. But yeah, it's like we're getting to it. We have our first award show really on Sunday with the Golden Globes.
That's crazy.
Shortly by the Critics' Choice, and then the Emmys are still in the midst of this. So it's 2024.
Yeah,
we're officially in the midst of award season.
Yeah, these next 2 weeks are going to be insane. But I think that after Oscar nominations, it'll slow down a little bit. But yeah, up until Oscar nominations, it's going to be wild. So let us get into these short lists with let's make our faces a little bigger here so it's a little smaller. That's too much. That's nice. There we go. BAFTA long lists. Let's start off with best film. 10 films here. I don't think there was anything too crazy here. We've got All of Us Strangers, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. I think the big misses here are May, December, and American Fiction. American Fiction, and Color Purple, I guess, but both of those kind of make sense because, as we know, the BAFTAs are not a big fan of films starring people of color lots of times. Denzel Washington still not nominated for a single BAFTA award, despite having two Oscar wins.
Crazy.
Countless nominations. So yeah, the BAFTAs are definitely the most behind the ball in terms of progress, but they're trying at least. I guess we can say that. And they got All of Us Strangers in here, which is a positive for me. That's like the top 2 favorite film of this past year for me. But I think really this is probably your Oscar 10 if you get rid of All of Us Strangers and then put in whatever you choose for that last spot, whether you choose May, December, Color Purple, what else is there? Oh, American Fiction I think would make the most sense to sneak in there. But everything else makes sense here. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm starting to just question May December's performance because I feel like, it was doing well in places where they had 6 nominees. But I wonder if it's faltered a little bit. I think that a lot of support is going Charles Melton's way, but then that's interesting. We're going to talk about the BAFTAs and their omission. And frankly, like you look at like this category, like there's so many films, and we also know their sensibilities. They definitely lean very European. It's interesting to see which films appeared both on Best Film and Best British Film long lists. But then also you have to look at where is the support going for the movie, and when I just think it's May December is a really interesting film because we were under predicting it, then we were feeling it was stronger with its debut, and now I think it's kind of faded away. I think because it's such a strong year for theatrical films, for films doing well at the box office, and May December really can't hang their head on that. Like they can't be proud of that because they just don't have that component. I think it's hurting, especially when your big movie stars are not what's pushing the movie forward. Emma Stone helps Poor Things because people want to talk about Emma Stone and she's the best thing in her movie. I think that's part of the conversation.
Also, I think appeals more to a BAFTA voting body than I think May December would. I think the guilds, which we'll be predicting after this, will be very telling in terms of how May December ends up come the Oscars. But yeah, an upsetting miss here. I don't think it's. I probably wouldn't predict it in picture here, but we'll get into the bigger May December misses in a second. But this wasn't too crazy. I believe 5 of these will end up in the final list. So I imagine there'd probably be what Poor Things would probably make it in. Oppenheimer would probably make it in. Do you think both Anatomy and Zone would probably make it in?
Depends. I mean, you have like films like The Favorite, which got into both categories. I think it's a unique year because a lot of times you look at like past years. A lot of the times British films aren't as well known. Where I feel like Zone of Interest is well known. It's going to win. It's going to win the Oscar for Best International Feature, and I think it's been a while since a British film, a film from the United Kingdom, has won that. I don't think it hasn't happened, at least since they rebranded the category.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting component here, in the fact that they still stick to the 5, I believe, as well. So it is interesting. I do think that Oppenheimer is definitely probably going to get in there. And then definitely probably. Poor Things most likely will. I am interested to see how this voting body views Barbie, because you never know.
They're a little more what's the word? Pretentious, I think BAFTA seems to be.
Yeah.
But nomination or long list wise, they seem to enjoy it so far. And it's different predicting your final list.
If it gets in, because I mean, listen, it's the highest grossing movie of the year, so obviously people in Britain saw it and liked it and helped it with its gross. But that would be really telling as far as how seriously, so far, Barbie is being taken very seriously at these awards bodies, and Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, as we saw with the films that they nominated, very different mentalities, yet they both came to the same conclusion, Barbie being the most nominated film of the year. Now, yes, I understand at both those places they had 3 songs, which helps.
Yeah.
But number 1 is number 1.
It's strong.
So I'm interested to see what happens here.
Yes, and thank you once again to Jordan, our biggest supporter. Crazy 3. Do you think Holdovers is strong, being American focused, and it's getting? Yeah, it is American focused, but it's still doing. I don't think it really it overperformed here a little bit because Dominic Sessa got in as well.
The most American focused coming of age story of the last 10 years is probably Boyhood, and that won BAFTA Best Film against Birdman, which you could maybe argue, with its less likable characters, is maybe something that's more appealing. That's the thing that helps Holdovers, is I think the characters, yes, they're warm and like you're endearing to
very
complex picture, but they're complex and they're not necessarily the nicest people. Like Paul Giamatti's character is like an asshole, and that's part of the charm of the movie. But I do think that helps. I think European film goers, they don't like cookie cutter people. That could be
like easy answers.
Barbie could just be seen as too commercial, too Hollywood.
I think Poor Things can be seen as the more intellectual version of it, which it probably appeals to them more.
That I do think is interesting, as far as, because they are very similar films thematically. And so do you choose one over the other, or do you put both in? I mean, frankly, I saw Poor Things again this week. I'm glad we did our list the way they are, because I got to talk about a movie that was not on your list. Maybe gave some people the chance to go see it. That being said, Poor Things probably would jump back into my. It's
back in. Okay,
it's my top 5 at this point, so it's a great film.
Oh wow,
so I'm glad you.
That's interesting. On second viewing, it went down a little bit for me. It went up for you.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't think of a movie that on second viewing goes down. Usually it goes up. It's the same. Movies that would go down, I don't watch a second time.
That's fair. And we've got one more from Jordan here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna talk about this. I think I probably address it now. Saltburn is getting stronger and stronger each week. What if I told you it was in my number 10 spot in Best Picture right now?
I think what we thought May December was doing on Netflix, Saltburn actually is doing better on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, May December I think was like huge in like the Twitter bubble discussion on Netflix. But if you look at it, like their charts, it stayed on there longer than Maestro did, but it dropped out of their top 10 pretty fast. I think Saltburn is huge. I mean, it's viral on TikTok. Everyone's seeing it. Everyone seems to be liking it, at least from what I'm seeing. I mean, there's obviously Saltburn,
it's a very popular movie, and I think a lot of people, the December 22nd release on Amazon Prime, at least domestically, was so smart because it was a lot of people's movie to watch over the Christmas holiday, be it with their families. Boy, that would be. We're doing our family watch along tomorrow to the holdovers. I can't imagine what my family would think. You know, they thought Call Me by Your Name was like they were too prudish for that. So like, I can't imagine what Saltburn would be. Yeah. But I think that Saltburn has some bona fides. I think we'll talk about the screenplay mix-up, but that could maybe be good news for Emerald Fennell.
There's an open spot there. Previous winner.
Lena Sangren, who I was surprised has only one nomination, and it was the one he won for with La La Land. He did not get nominated for First Man or Babylon, but like maybe he sneaks into cinematography. I agree. I'm not where you are yet, but I do think that it could be a Nightmare Alley, surprise us, and maybe get like 4 nominations.
It could potentially get an acting nomination as well in supporting actress is what I'd say. I think there's an open spot there.
See, I agree that there's a open spot, but I do think that the True Detective syndrome is going to come in and really help.
That's fair, but then maybe Julianne Moore gets knocked out if May December isn't in picture, but Saltburn is.
Interesting idea. That is an interesting idea. I do think
maybe Daniel Brooks, which I think The Color Purple is not in Best Picture anymore.
I think Daniel Brooks.
I think she'll stay though.
Will stay. I do think that it's unfortunate that Taraji P. Henson just doesn't seem to be materializing. I think SAG is really her only chance to really put her flag in the sand and say, take me seriously as an independent and not just as the ensemble. But listen. Rosamund Pike's last and only nomination was for such an unconventional film with Gone Girl. It's possible. People like her.
Yeah. And I think it is all, we just looked at it, worth mentioning. It got a bunch of nominations here. It still missed Best Film, which is interesting. But I think it did pretty good overall. Some people throwing out who they have getting in there for their final 5. I imagine we'll probably, I think the BAFTA nominations are on the 18th of January. So I imagine we can commit to our final predictions closer.
I will say right now, let me just look up. I'm going to say Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest, and then I think they'll go Anatomy of a Fall and All of Us Strangers will be in Best British Film, right? I think that's will do.
I think that applies to both. Yeah. And I could agree with this. I do think Past Lives kind of has a style to it that I think would appeal to more a European taste.
Is that style just making people think?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I was making a movie, and the producer told me, "I want you to do an avant-garde film, like a European art film." And I was like, "Do you just want me to make a movie where people have to think?"
It's not a cookie cutter. Yeah,
it's like, all right.
It's the nice way of saying it, you know.
It's like I was going to do that regardless.
I think if Saltburn's kicking someone's spot for cinematography, it'd probably be Zone of Interest. I think that we'll get into it. I think that didn't get long.
Maestro is strong with the Academy. We'll talk about that when we get to DGA.
It's Matthew Lee Batik. It's black and white. It's like probably top 3 in cinematography, I'd say. Another one from Jordan.
When it comes to Maestro, I feel.
I keep hearing my friends praise Gosling. I do think we'll get into it with SAG. I think Gosling, I mean, that's the biggest voting body, the most populous voting body, 160,000 members there. I think there's a chance he could take that. He could also end up taking the Golden Globe. I might have to, we'll get into it in a second, back off of my Melton stuff. But yes, thank you so much, Jordan. We really, really appreciate it. You are not only our first Super Chat, but like our first 5. So you are forever in the Oscar Film Forecast Hall of Fame here.
We got to get a photo of Jordan and put it up.
Yeah, just have him like somewhere on here. But yeah, we've only covered Best Film so far. Okay. Outstanding British film.
A lot, you know, that's what happens.
We covered a lot. Yeah.
People know it.
We do. Yes. Yes. Long run times here, but hopefully you all enjoyed. We'll have chapter times if you don't. British film. I don't need to run through them all. You see them all. I don't know how many will be nominated.
Saltburn is here.
Saltburn is here. Worth mentioning. All the Strangers. Napoleon's interesting. Poor Things, Saltburn, Zone of Interest, I think are all 4 pretty safe here. And that last spot, they liked Wonka. I guess it's British. But I think they liked How to Have Sex a lot too. So maybe that.
A supporting actor nomination for Paddington 2. They love Paul King.
They do. Yeah. I would probably throw in How to Have Sex for the last spot though, because that got in acting and a few other ones. But we'll see.
I've heard good things about Scrapper as well. I have
too. I really want to see that.
Actually.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. Debut, once again, we have How to Have Sex here. Probably would win. That or Rye Lane, I think, are your two win contenders here.
I would say that. I think your categories: How to Have Sex, Polite Society, Ryan Lane, Scrapper,
and then Earth Mama.
Maybe Earth Mama. Yeah,
I've heard good things about that.
It's a good list.
It's a good list. It is. Film not in English language. I think here nothing. I think The Crazy Miss Heroes, probably Perfect Days, didn't make it in, which is upsetting. I still haven't seen it, but I think
that's part of it. I think it's having an accessibility issue, frankly.
Yeah. But I think this is probably what Anatomy of a Fall. Fallen Leaves feels pretty safe. Past Lives, which is interesting that it's here. Society of the Snow, Zone of Interest, maybe Taste of it. Actually,
the foreign language. Is there a difference between English and American English? Like
there is
English
there
and
is, I guess.
The American.
Past Lives will pretty much get foreign or non-English, however you qualify it, everywhere except for the Oscars. A lot of it is in foreign language, to be fair, but I don't know. Something about it is.
She dreams in a different language.
She does. That's one of the best lines of the film. But I'd imagine the winner here is between Zone and Anatomy. Probably Anatomy.
I mean,
did you see that there was that article I saw, like, interviewing like 37 like filmmakers about their favorite films of the year, and the one film that got the most mentions was Anatomy of the Fall. So I think there's a lot of love for it.
There's a lot of love for it. I think partly, I mean, go back one episode to we both. I think it was on your list as well, right?
For our top 10s, yeah. I think it's like my 7.
I feel like it's the tar of this year that everybody just really, especially the crowd, Anatomy, like, it's just, you can't deny. There's just such craft, there's such precision, and it is so exact in its execution.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's my number 4, actually. I thought you were saying Past Lives for a second. Just want to clarify. I have Anatomy of the Fall at number 4. I love it. Not number 7. But yeah, once again, thank you, Jordan. Super chat number 6. We love you. You love this channel. We love you. Moving on. Documentary. I still don't know what's happening in this category. American Symphony feels pretty safe. I think still will probably end up missing, if I were to guess. 20 Days feels safe. Beyond Utopia will probably get in. Deepest Breath. We'll see. I don't know. This is something that I like predict like right beforehand. So I'd say these 3 look probably the best right now. And then still looks good, but I still think it will probably get snubbed. Animated, I think your predicted 5 is still here. Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Verse, Mutant Mayhem.
I could see Chicken Run maybe at BAFTA.
For them, yes. For BAFTAs.
Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because that seems to be the one that, the Golden Globes, I think, missed out on TMN.
That's the number 5.
So, yeah. Sorry, Wish. I mean, not that sorry, but bye-bye.
Yeah. See you later, alligator. Director. I believe they split this by gender. So 8 women, 8 men. So an interesting list here. I think the big miss from what I remember is May December missed here.
They just didn't like anything else too crazy. I just don't think they liked that movie.
They just didn't like it, I guess. And yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else major. Color Purple didn't make it, but I don't think that's a contender at all. Saltburn is here.
The Saltburn got Best British Film, and it got Best Director. So I think even though it didn't get into the Best Film, I think that's very strong. Like, you could definitely say, like, let's say what you are predicting now happens, and that it sneaks into Best Picture. It definitely has BAFTA support. This is a tea leaf leading us toward the potential of Saltburn rising.
I agree. Yeah, because it's my number 10 picture. But yeah, I think director, Christopher Nolan will probably win here too. Got Nolan.
He's British. I feel like we forget that.
Yeah, I do forget that he's British because I don't know. He appeals so much to, I think, Americans more so than British.
We've claimed him.
We have claimed him. Yeah, I imagine like Anatomy. Actually, we don't need to predict this because, especially in director, they
Let's wait for it to be short. Let's get the actual 5, and then we can predict.
Yeah, we'll push it down.
Maybe the jury system. It's BAFTA is a very interesting voting method.
Yeah, and once again, thank you, Jordan. Barbie, Best Picture, Oppenheimer, and Director. I think Oppenheimer is winning Director pretty much everywhere, no matter what. I do think Barbie could win Best Picture.
For Jordan's, again, thank you, George. The generosity in the first, like,
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous, and we thank you.
Very much.
I think, just a quick side note, quick tangent.
Yeah.
Did you see what Meryl Streep said today, or said
Didn't she
yesterday?
say like, saved movies or something?
There's a lot of love
We
for.
have a movie every year that saves movies, but yes.
Yeah, but I think this is. I would not put Barbie in the Top Gun Maverick as far as
No.
the craft of the film. I think that there is
No.
what it achieved is unique. I'm not saying it will go all the way, because I do think Oppenheimer is as unique a film, but there could be, if Oppenheimer does what so many films do, which is that people do get tired of giving it picture award after picture award. If it has La La Land syndrome, and Barbie's able to pull off an upset at SAG, it's not. I think that Barbie should honestly be your number 2 in picture. I really do.
Barbenheimer is your top 2.
That I think people could see as actually being worthy of achieving something to the same level as Oppenheimer. And I also think that, just like La La Land and Moonlight, these are 2 movies that people are just thinking of in the same breath. And it helps if then you're the number 2, because if you're so attached to the other movie, and then people start getting a little tired of the other movie, and they know they're going to give it Best Director.
It'll be like picking sides. Like, you think one or the other is going to win, and you have to pick a side. Red versus blue.
They may say that we've never seen a movie like Barbie, and it has the Everything Everywhere campaign. Jordan, I think that it's more likely. From me, I think that is possible more than any other thing. But I'm still going to go Oppenheimer. I think now that Barbie's in screenplay, I think that's where it will triumph over Oppenheimer, as an adapted screenplay.
Yeah, I agree.
And who knows, maybe supporting actor. I know some people are predicting Gosling. I'm still on the Downey camp.
Yeah, I think Downey hasn't completely unleashed his charm.
Yeah, I made a big change in my predictions. Maybe we'll talk about it today.
When we hit SAG, we'll probably address it at some point. But yes, once again, thank you, Jordan. Yes. Adapted screenplay. I think the biggest miss here was Spider-Verse.
I love that movie, but is that a big miss? Did we expect it?
No, but I mean, when you've got stuff like Dumb Money getting in here, you would think maybe Spider-Verse or Wonka getting into adapted screenplay. I think maybe they'd make room for Spider-Verse.
Wonka's British. Dumb Money is not.
It is. Yeah.
Nothing with Pete Davidson can be British.
Nope. But yeah, I think that's the only big miss here. Leading actress, beginning of disappointing things. I love not all of the nominees, but I love a lot of the nominees here. But the big thing, no Natalie Portman, is quite upsetting. That's like a top 2 favorite lead actress performance for me this year. And that's the only big miss here.
Margot Robbie could be your 5.
She could be an actress 5 for sure. I think she might be in my 5, but it is worth mentioning the 3 years since the BAFTAs have done long lists. Each year there's been an actress who missed the long list who then ended up at the Oscars. So maybe I'll keep Natalie Portman in there. Maybe I'm just trying to cope, but who knows?
But so the jury work, it's like there's 2 picks that are like the top 2, and then the jury's debate over the other 4. Maybe this is not how
I think so.
But what I find interesting is that we have a lot of popular actors here. Margot Robbie is the one that surprises me the most, because would that be one that the jury's try to save, or was she a top 2 pick? That's what I just find so interesting, because we both said that we loved Margot Robbie. She might be our favorite performance in the film.
Oh yeah.
But there was always the worry of would people really go for this performance? Would they get over the idea that she's playing Barbie and actually give her bona fides that she deserves? And it seems that they are. And maybe it's just because people they really have respect for Margot Robbie, and maybe it has to do with the producing aspect as well. But I think people maybe are saying there's no world where we nominate Ryan Gosling and we don't nominate Margot Robbie. They go hand in hand.
Here's what it is. Top 7 is voted by membership, and then jury picks 3. So I imagine the jury here are Vivian Oparah, Mia McKenna-Bruce, and maybe Fantasia, because it seems like the voting body probably didn't love Color Purple overall.
It's possible, yeah. So or Annette Bening.
Or not, maybe Annette Bening, yeah.
But
either way, Margot Robbie, I don't think was a jury pick.
The actual voting, it's 2. At when it's 5 for the actual, it's 2.
The final 6, yeah.
Yeah, for the final 6, yeah, that's right. And then
they change their rules every year, so it's hard to keep up with.
It's crazy. And now it's like I feel like 6 is becoming the new 5. It's like but yeah, that's what I wonder if it is a tandem thing with Robbie and Gosling. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But
Yeah,
it's
she's
interesting
good.
again. But I wonder if then just the Natalie Portman omission just speaks to the lack of support for May December.
Hmm.
I really think putting it in comedy and having that be part of the film's narrative really hurt it. I think it hurt the perception of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that was a good choice. I think it's interesting how people, especially in Twitter and just in the social media bubble, like when a movie is not just like one particular thing, like when it's not just a comedy or a drama, and it's like May December is like somewhere in between, like straddling the line, it like completely gives them an aneurysm. So
It's
it's interesting.
also an uncomfortable film, and it's meant to be, and it's expertly
Hmm.
done, as we talked about last episode.
And she's in the most competitive of the three of their categories, I'd say.
Yeah, but I still think that like you would imagine there's a world where like Annette Bening or Margot Robbie, whichever one, like you would imagine she would be able to get in there. Like I don't
Hmm.
know if I mean Margot Robbie, I don't think has won a BAFTA. I don't know if Annette Bening has been able
No,
to triumph here where she hasn't at the
I
Oscar.
doubt it.
But like Natalie Portman, like is an Oscar-winning actress. So like
She's a
the
BAFTA winning actress too.
yeah, so like you would think that that would push her through.
And
Again, it
she
has to be that they just don't like the movie.
Yeah,
And
she
I'm
got
not
BAFTA nominated for all of her previous 3 Oscar
and if the
nominations as
Brits
well.
don't like the movie, I would I would think it would have like Todd Haynes. I just feel like his sensibility appeals more to a European film crowd than an American film crowd. Like that
I
was the
would
issue
think
with
so.
Carol. Like it was doing fine, and then PGA it missed, and then um, it missed the Oscar. So
Yeah.
I'm really worried for that movie now.
Yeah. I am too. I think the performances in screenplay are still some of the performances in screenplay are still pretty safe, but we'll get to that. Once again, thank you, Jordan. Poor Things could be the favorite actress and or Grand Budapest Hotel crafts, or be snubbed and Huller wins on Passion and Discovery. I would love to see Huller win. She is my favorite lead actress performance of the
Isn't
year.
she longlisted in
Um,
both for Zone of Interest as well?
she was in supporting and
That helps.
lead. Yeah, I think there's a lot of love for her, especially since she's in both of those
I feel
movies
like
in
at this
one
point we
season.
should just invite Jordan to the
Yeah,
show.
Jordan should just be.
Okay.
I'll send him the link. Yeah, he's earned it.
I bet Jordan will probably beat us in our predictions. Like we're gonna have
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
whatever categories, but Jordan will come out on top.
Yes, he probably would. It could be the favorite. I don't think Poor Things is really in winning contention for a picture thing, but I do think its best shot at a win is an actress like the favorite for that one. But yeah, I think it's still definitely getting in there. I think it could be blanked though. Honestly, I don't know what it would win if Lily Gladstone wins actress. Because I think Barbie's probably getting both production and costume design.
Yeah, it's tough because it's such a unique film, and it was funny. I was sitting behind these two ladies when I saw the movie recently, and I was so waiting for them to walk out. And as soon as it ended, they were
Yeah.
like, "That was the most original film I have ever
Oh,
seen."
that's awesome.
And so, like, I do think that as much as we think it might be turning people off, I do think that it is appealing to people. However, I agree with you. I honestly think we could see the same thing that happened with The Favorite, where The Favorite we think is going to win either costume design or production design. It misses that, and then it wins Best Actress. Because I do
Maybe.
think that what could end up happening with Lily Gladstone is what happened with Viola Davis and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It was a performance that didn't have the same screen time as her fellow nominees, and there was a performance that people more associated with driving the movie as a whole, as Frances McDormand was in Nomadland, and as Emma Stone is definitely in Poor Things. And I think people really admire her risk taking. And I also think that people who are comparing Emma Stone to Kate Blanchett and Lily Gladstone and Michelle Yeoh, and saying that maybe Emma Stone's already won, like Kate Blanchett. Lily Gladstone is this chance to award a performance and a performer who hasn't had the opportunity. It's easier to win your second than it is to win your third. And I think Emma
Yeah.
Stone having only won one before for La La Land, and that being a completely different performance, the
Mhm.
range she shows here, I think that helps. I mean, who doesn't love Emma Stone? Like that helps.
She's very charismatic. She's one
Yeah.
of the most charismatic actors out there, so that's also helpful. So it's definitely between those two, I think, for the actress spot. And we did do, or I did, Anne was name. I don't know how different our Golden Globes predictions would have been. Maybe we can touch on that after we get through everything else. But I'm sure you agreed with most of it. But I don't think Bradley Cooper is winning the Golden Globe. I think Cillian Murphy is. But
Listen,
we'll see.
I feel like if I don't predict him to win, then he will win because I'm just Bradley Cooper is an enigma at the Golden Globes. I was so ready for him to win that Globe for A Star Is Born, and then he just didn't. And
I still think he loses the Oscar anyways if he wins the Globe. Is probably the best shot he has at a win, honestly.
But, yeah, I think he has a good chance with SAG, but I also think that Oppenheimer is just so popular, and also you have a television crowd voting there, and Peaky Blinders is a very popular television series. I just think I feel like this is a very dynamic race, but I could see a world where it's Cillian Murphy straight through.
Well, speaking of leading actor, I don't think there's any crazy snubs here from what I mean, Koji Yakusho didn't make it in for Perfect Days, but I think what we've got, Bradley, we've got Cillian, we've got Leo, we've got Paul, we got Jeffrey, we've got Domingo, we've got Scott. That's your top 7.
And Barry Keoghan, who would probably be your 8.
Probably be your 8. Yeah, probably, honestly. And then probably some jury picks with George McKay. I love seeing Teo Yoo in here, just as good as the other performances in the film, just as important. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
I wonder.
I hope Andrew Scott gets in and wins.
Yeah. I wonder if Jeffrey Wright was the jury save because
maybe
American Fiction
they didn't like the film
for him in other places. Because all these other movies like Past Lives, Holdovers, Oppenheimer, they performed well. Saltburn.
He probably was the other one.
But it's interesting.
Him or Coleman,
yeah. Well, it was Coleman, George McKay or Mackay. Teo Yoo might have just gotten in because
that's true.
Like I love Greta Lee, but it seems odd that Greta Lee is the only person. Maybe because she's the more known person.
She's the most known in the industry.
But I like Teo Yoo. Like
he's just as good.
You can't have that movie without his performance, and I would argue also John Magaro. It's a strong as the Holdovers.
Zac Efron, yes, that's worth mentioning. I don't think that film got anything there.
When we talk about PGA.
And SAG, we'll talk about it at SAG as well, because I think those are places that film has a much better shot than here.
I think it was too late.
It's a deeply, like, out of all the films this year, it's maybe like the most Americana film of any film.
And it's depressing.
Well, I think BAFTA would like depressing, though.
I know, but it's still, like, it's a rough movie to sit through.
It is.
Holidays.
Yeah. I love it. I love a good cry. I cried multiple times during it. So, and then I watched it just like 2 times within 48 hours. So I am a film masochist. Supporting actress. What were a nice addition here with Cara Jade Myers? I imagine that might be a jury pick.
I don't know who Claire Foy All is, but
oh yeah, I think that's just All of Us Strangers is twice there.
But yay,
Claire Foy All.
I'm glad she's here.
I hope she makes the final 5. She is the second best performance in that film after Andrew Scott. She's great in it. Maybe her best performance from what I've seen, which is saying a lot because she's great in everything.
Yeah. I'd love to say the same, as I'm sure I would if it would play in a theater near me.
Playing in 4 theaters. Yep. Oh God.
All right, so let's talk about it. Do you think Rosamund Pike gets in for the BAFTA?
Here for 6? Yes, I think she does. I think what you've got, Divine is definitely getting in. Emily Blunt is definitely getting in. They didn't love May December, so I don't think Julianne Moore gets in, honestly. Yeah, I think there's definitely room.
Well, okay, let's talk about then the other person who's on this list, and a lot of people are predicting is America Ferrera.
Oh,
are we? Because she keeps popping up. She keeps popping up at these places, and I think
she does. I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, come on.
There are plenty of nominations I haven't gotten. J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, people didn't get, and she won.
Yeah.
Which also, for the people who are saying that is the most crack a book. There's a lot of undeserved.
It's up there, though. It's up there. I liked that tweet.
It wasn't even the most undeserved acting winner last year.
That's fair. We had 2 Alzheimer's last year. That's what I'll say. We had 2 Alzheimer's.
But still, I'm just, I just, that's last year. Anyway, point being, I just think that America Ferrera, it's just interesting because you could argue she has maybe the best clip out of all of these people outside of Emily Blunt.
She has the Laura Dern monologue, yeah. I'm going to keep comparing it to that because Laura Dern got nominated for that monologue release.
Laura Dern got nominated for being Laura Dern.
Yes,
so, like,
that's very helpful.
People were waiting for that scene, that monologue, that performance to be like.
They were waiting for a reason to be like, okay, let's give her to
Which also was Jamie Lee Curtis. Let's not forget.
She had. Except she didn't even have a scene for that, but yeah.
Listen, I love out there bonkers performances. The fact that you can put hot dog fingers and say that's an Oscar-winning performance, I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But she would not have been. I saw Night Swim yesterday, and I was like,
Carrie Condon,
what are you doing? You should have been an Oscar-winning actress at this point. And why? I mean, listen.
It's okay. She's an upcoming Disney Plus Star Wars child show, Skeleton Crew. That's her next project.
Oh, she's in that? Okay.
So, yeah.
I think that's better.
See how that goes. That's better than Night Swim. Yeah. Once again, Jordan, thank you. My predictions.
You can just send it. We thank you. It's really.
You don't need to super chat everything. We try and address as many comments as we can, but of course, a super chat gets priority. Thank you so much. I think now our first 10 super chats are from Jordan, so Hall of Fame. But his predictions are Murphy, Stone, Gosling, Brooks, potential upsets: Giamatti, Huller, Melton, Pike. Ooh, for a win, Pike. I think Pike could get it at the Oscars. In terms of the winners, I agree with Murphy. I think Stone. It's between Stone or Gladstone. Gosling is totally possible.
Or this for the Oscars? Because I think for the BAFTAs.
Oh, for BAFTAs, yeah. Yes, I don't think Brooks would win at BAFTA.
But I think because Melton's here, this might be the Oscars. But yeah, I think with Sandra Hüller, the nomination will be the win in the same way it was for Isabelle Huppert and Elle. Now, granted, Elle was less seen probably than what Anatomy of a Fall is going to be seen. And I do think that she will be, especially from the crowd who watches independent film religiously, like she will be helped by Zone of Interest, especially if Zone of Interest gets into Best Picture. But I still think there's so much love for Killers of the Flower Moon, and it is all going Lily Gladstone's way. So it's a really, I think honestly, Best Actor were like between Giamatti and Cooper and Murphy, like we're thinking is this really tight race. I honestly think that might reveal itself to not be as tight a race as we think, and it's just going to be Murphy the whole way, potentially.
I think so.
Actress could be where Emma Stone wins SAG, but Gladstone wins. Like Emma Stone could win SAG and Critics' Choice. Hüller could win BAFTA. Gladstone could win the Globe. Like it could be a really interesting. Yeah. Like I think we're going back to 2020, 2021, and it's going to be like Andra Day wins the Globe and Viola Davis wins SAG and Frances McDormand won BAFTA, right? And then Carey Mulligan was still fighting there. So always fighting, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I definitely think Jordan's got it. I think your winners are there, except Downey.
Do you still have Daniel Brooks winning?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, yeah, we will. Okay. And yeah, it's also worth mentioning R.I.P. Rachel McAdams here.
I didn't think that was going to happen, but I still love that performance.
SAG is our last hope. It won't happen there either. But yeah, we'll see. And there we go. Streak is broken. Black Toad, thank you. You have broken the streak. We love you too, Black Toad.
We're going to turn it into an auction, and it's going to go back and forth.
Yeah. No. Yeah, who can get to $100 first? Let's
stop.
See.
No, don't do that.
No, don't actually.
Jordan win.
That was a joke. Jordan is getting there already. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, guys. You're amazing.
Everyone here is amazing. Yes. Moving on. Supporting actor.
Anthony Hopkins, not for Freud's last session.
For one, I don't even know if Freud's came out this year. It may have, or last year, I guess, but. Some inspired picks that I imagine are jury picks. Ben Whishaw, Passages. I saw that, I think, since our top 10 list. I don't know if it would have made my top 10, but I love the movie.
All right. We got to talk about this because, first off, I understand why he's here, but Dominic Sessa, I believe, he's definitely in more than 40% of the holdovers, and that's my rule.
I think it's like Paul Giamatti's like 46% and Dominic Sessa's like 43%. Is what I saw.
It's close. Yeah. And I get it.
He's a lead.
Newcomer. It's where usually the newcomers go. Timothy Hutton was the lead of Ordinary People, and he was in supporting actor. Like, I get it. But still, it's a little crazy to compare him to somebody like, you know, Robert De Niro, not Robert De Niro, because Robert De Niro is even in his movie a lot.
Yeah.
But like Robert Downey Jr., who's in, I think, less than 30% of Oppenheimer.
Mhm.
But that being said, we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
No Charles Melton. Also worth mentioning, all white actors. Your two
Yes.
potential, I think, like top 6 supporting contenders, Sterling K. Brown and Charles Melton.
And
Neither
Jacob
made it.
Elordi got it, which again, I love Saltburn,
He's good in the
and
movie.
he's
He's one
good,
of the better performances.
but it's also, I don't like that performance doesn't have like I would have thought that if he was gonna get nominated, he would have gotten nominated for
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
That's show
Uh,
year, yeah.
so that's what I
But they
just
didn't like Priscilla at all.
well,
I don't think
wasn't
it
it
got a
in
single
for
thing.
Best Director? I thought she got
Oh,
longlisted.
yes, it got Best Director, yeah.
So you would think that,
That's it.
you know, I guess, I mean, listen, he definitely probably has, it's an original character in Saltburn, so maybe that helps. I just find it interesting, too, that you have two All of Us Strangers, you have Jacob Elordi, and then no Charles Melton. Again, speaking to maybe people just feeling uncomfortable by the movie, they don't like the movie. The other thing it should be mentioned is I believe Kiwi Kwan. This was like the one place where he could really
lost.
perform.
Yep.
This is a little bit of that, you know, before the jury selection and the move for inclusion. This is a little bit of the old BAFTAs shining through here.
The old BAFTAs are still very, I think, much around. They're trying to improve, but I think it's much slower for them than it is for everyone else.
Yeah.
Also worth shouting out. Thank you, another very loyal viewer, Yellow Gal. Thank you very much. But yeah, no Charles Melton here is crazy. I just don't understand it. Also worth mentioning, no Milo. I've always
Milo
Machado Grainer. Yeah, for
I know
Anatomy of a Fall. You did. I just don't know if it's Mikado or Machado. But he's incredible in that film. I would have thought they could have shortlisted it because they like the film
We gotta
overall.
call him MMG.
Yeah, MMG. MGM. Just one letter off. But yeah, I'll say, and I know lots of people have not seen it, but if you're going to nominate a supporting actor from All of the Strangers, I would pick Jamie Bell for All of the Strangers. Paul Mescal is very good in it, but I just don't think. I think it would take Charles Melton or a lot of other people before Paul Mescal. But yeah, it's upsetting. We've got one. Jordan says it's his last super chat. Hope stick to it, Jordan. I really don't want to be taking so much money. My mom wants Melissa McCarthy nominated for Little Mermaid. You would agree with that, Anthony? Maybe not nominated. You're a big fan of the film.
I love that movie, and when we saw it, I actually I treated my family when we were in Disney to a dine-in, and we saw Little Mermaid with my sisters, and they were dancing in the theater. It was great. And I asked my dad, like, do you think that's worthy? And I consider my dad a very smart man, except though he couldn't tell that it was Robert Downey Jr. and the makeup of Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I still don't get that.
But he agrees with that assessment. I think. Listen, I love Melissa McCarthy. I think she's great. I think she's wonderful, and I do think that she brought new levels and layers to that performance. You really saw that she was so angry and like devilish in how she concocted the plan. It's a fun performance. It will never ever get touched by anybody in these awards bodies. But listen, Halle Bailey too. I think she's I would put her in the same realm as Fantasia as far as musical performances. I think that it's you know. That's just me. I had a lot of fun. But again, I directed the show this summer. So I was all like Little Mermaid was all
This is a big Little Mermaid year for you.
Yeah, this was a big Little Mermaid. Barbenheimer was the only thing that brought me to the surface to breathe away from the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. So thank you, Jordan, once again. And thank you, Yellow Gal. You're the third. We've got our 3 first Hall of Famers here. And yeah, we can go back to the insane thing that is Charles Melton here. I don't even know what to say. I just don't understand it. I think he's still safe for the Oscar nom and the SAG nom and everything else. But I don't even know how they just I guess it comes down to they didn't like the film that much, which I don't get, but upsetting indeed. In terms of I think, would they give it to Downey for the win, you think, here?
They gave it to Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And gave us one of the best award speeches ever when Margot Robbie went up to accept on his behalf and said that he was going to name his award Harry because he's taking it back to the States with him. That was a fun little speech.
That was a good speech.
Yeah. Listen, I just
I'll
think
probably give it to him.
I do think that I'm interested to see what the Globes do, but I also think that the Globes are not going to do, especially this Globes. Like, remember, we all thought Jennifer Lopez is going to win for Hustlers, and then they gave it to Laura Dern because that was the more that was the choice that made more sense. Like, I just think, yes, Gosling is going to be fun and exciting, but Downey just makes sense. And Downey's best moments, I really think that Downey, like the thing about Downey is that he is essentially a point of view character. Like that helps as far as really strengthening his perspective on the movie. Like Gosling is supporting, and yes, you remember him, but I don't know. I think also like if I'm just Ken was like I think the song category kind of shows us where we're at with Barbie. Like we love Barbie
Mhm.
more for what was I made for and the emotional beats. Like it's not just about Ken. If it was only about Ken and that was all the movie had as going for it, then yes. But I think Barbie's more than that, which
Mhm.
means that they're branching out and they're going to give it screenplay and best original song. You know, we're
Yeah.
and then so then it comes down to who's more deserving, Downey or Gosling. And I think for voting bodies, they've been with Downey longer,
I
and I think
think
they're
Charles
more
Melton.
impressed with the dramatic performance. But out of
Yeah.
this long list, obviously,
Out of this long list, I
I'll go
choose
with Don.
Charles Melton. Write and vote.
Right in vote.
Everyone voting for BAFTAs, write in Charles Melton. And yes, lots of mornings for Milo and Charles in the chat. And yes, Golden Globes, I think, are they set the tone, and they give, like, I think that secured Angela
Oscar
Bassett's
audition.
nomination last year, but not the win. I think it gives a boost, but I don't think it's as big of a deal in terms of like winners as people make it out to be. I think you can look to SAG and BAFTA for that more so.
I kind of the thing about the Globes is that it is your Oscar audition. It's the first time to
Mhm.
get on camera and give a speech. And for the people, I really I do think it matters because I think the industry will still pay attention and those clips will get
Oh
passed
yeah, the industry's in the room.
and I think that it can set now. Listen, not always, because Angela Bassett won, gave a great speech, and then Jamie
Mhm.
Lee Curtis won a SAG, and that's what happens. So sometimes no, but I do think that it's your first chance to make a great first impression on the award circuit, and so I do think it's important. Because even like
Yeah.
like you'll say, well, sometimes movies like Glenn Close, like she went up, gave a great speech, got 3 standing ovations, and still lost. But then always like Olivia Colman won that night. There's
Mhm.
always
'Cause they
breadcrumbs
split it
that
up.
can lead back to the Golden Globes. Just because, listen, there aren't that many movies when you think about it, and the Golden Globes are bound to hit some of these darts at a bullseye. So
Especially when they get to throw more than everyone else,
that's true.
because they split it up. But I still have Charles Melton winning the Golden Globe, even though he didn't even get longlisted here, because
Really,
I'm just sticking to it because there's like a few days left, so
you're
why
Aaron
not?
Taylor
And
Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, exactly. Plus, they added, it was 80 people before, now it's 300 people. All the people they added are critics. Charles Melton has been doing amazing with the critics. I think they could have more criticky taste, as we saw with the nominations, so I'm going to stick with it.
I think he
But we'll
probably
see.
has a better shot. It's funny with Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice Awards. Um, but I don't know. I mean, listen, he could be the Eddie Redmayne and Downey could be Michael Keaton. It's a possible path. But I think he would have to this is my thing is it's if it was a one-on-one, maybe, but Melton
Mhm.
has to climb Gosling and Downey, and that is what I think is maybe difficult. Like
Yeah.
beating one of them, sure,
I
but
don't think
beating
he's going to win
both
the
of
Oscar,
them,
but I think
it's
he'll win the Globe.
tough. So do you still have Downey at the Oscar?
I do. It
Okay.
makes sense. It makes sense. Even though I think Melton still has a little bit of a shot, is all I'll say.
But
Um, and even though he made a promise, Jordan has another super chat. Last one. Loved The Color Purple, but I think that many are experiencing fatigue with the novel, original film, musical revival. But Brooks is a different story outside. I think Brooks does stand outside of the film
yeah,
and everyone
for
else's
sure.
thoughts about the film. I think she's getting nominated, even if the film, she could be the only nomination for the film, if I'm being honest. But I do think Color
That
Purple, I think,
would be insane.
suffers from that. It would be crazy, but I think Color Purple suffers from, I think generally lots of people just see it as like a good movie, not as like amazing or groundbreaking or anything. And I think it suffers from being an incredibly competitive and high quality year.
I think that is true. Listen, when I saw it, there was such electricity to it. But
Mhm,
I was the first one to also say like it's not going to challenge you. Like it's not
mhm.
a critical thing. It's more of an experience. It's a movement. It's a moment. And it was going to the box office was going to be a major part of this.
And it didn't do as good as everyone. It had a good Christmas Day, but it really fell off from that. So I
Yeah.
don't even know if it'll make PGA at this. We'll talk about that,
And
but PGA at this point.
I thought that it would play. I think I am surprised to see that there are so many people who really love the original film so much that they just think it's sacrilegious to turn it into a musical.
It is
What
interesting.
happens with Mean Girls, because so far I've
Yeah.
seen pretty good
Reviews are good
so far
or reactions.
reactions. But yeah, and maybe it just depends on the year, but I do think that Color Purple is but also like if it gets into PGA and it gets in at SAG, it could still do what we think it's
It
going
could
to.
sneak in, but I would think it's like number 10 if it gets in. I mean, that's also worth mentioning. It missed Costume Designers Guild. I think it also missed like the Set Decorators Guild. It's not like it's not getting any text really. Its
Yeah.
only shots at I think are Brooks and maybe Song. I think that's really it.
And I think I took it out of my song and put the
I
Diane Lewis
did too.
song back in.
Yeah, Flamin' Hot Cheetos over.
That would to
over.
imagine that Daniel Brooks is the only nomination is pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it's very possible, unfortunately.
And then if that happens, I really don't think she wins.
Oh no, no, no! I don't think she can win at this point. If I don't think the film is in Best Picture, and I think Divine Joy Randolph is just far too strong. Holdovers is a top 3 picture contender. I think if it's not Barbie or Oppenheimer, I think it's Poor Things, or not Poor Things.
Holdovers. I don't know. I think it's maybe. I think my thing with being a top contender for you got to win stuff. Like, like I don't know what
it just has the best looking package, like winning supporting actress, maybe screenplay, and then picture.
Yeah, but if Past Lives is winning screenplay, it's like
I think it is. Yeah.
So that's why it's tough. Then what else? I think
if I had to pick a number 3, I would say Holdovers, but I don't think
I could see a world where maybe
two.
Killers it picks up maybe one tech here or there. And Poor Things, honestly,
maybe
pick up a tech. Could pick up Best Actress. That would be 3. That's what Moonlight got. That's what a lot of Best Pictures get.
You really need director or screenplay though to win picture, one or the other. And I don't think Poor Things is.
Which is why I think that Past Lives is not going to be in contention. I mean, maybe
it's like Women Talking last year.
Maybe Holdovers does pull it off in the same way that we all thought like Banshees was going to win and then Everything Everywhere won because we were like, this is where Banshees can win. It's like no, they're going to go with the other movie. But yeah, I just think it's Barbie and Oppenheimer, and then there's another 8 movies.
Everyone else. Yep, everyone else. When I saw Color Purple, there were a lot of people shocked they were singing. Yes, I do think people didn't expect for it to be a musical as well, especially given the tone of a lot of the stuff happening in the film. But
there was somebody behind me, and it was a white woman who was like, "Are they going to sing the entire time?"
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. And then a lot of weird reactions when the kiss happens between Taraji and Fantasia. I was like, what is going on?
Of course there is.
Moonlight was like 7, 8 years ago at this point.
Yep. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. We can speed through the rest of these, I think. Casting, nice shout outs here. This doesn't really cover the Oscars, but I like this category. It's always nice to shout out casting.
I think the casting director should win with the ensembles at SAG. I'm sorry. I don't
think so. I think it should be a category. Casting is an art.
Casting is an art, but we already have an ensemble award at a major guild. I get that it's the actors, but like they were only assembled. They weren't blindly assembled. Like it just seems so stupid.
Yeah, should be honored. Cinematography. I can't think of anything major in my head that missed. Zone got in, Poor Things got in, Oppenheimer, Maestro, Killers.
I'm really surprised with how strong Barbie is in cinematography, given that
I don't get it.
Rodrigo is already getting nominated for another movie, so it's not like he's covered. It's just the movie, and the movie.
I think it's just the cinematography and production design are very connected. I think in terms of like visually creating the film.
Cinematography, like visually it pops, and it's like I think her choice to shoot on digital matches the plasticness of Barbie. But still, it's not one that I would imagine. It's not one I would think keeps popping up at every single precursor.
But it does. I doubt it'll make the final 5 though.
We thought Top Gun was winning, and it wasn't even nominated. So Barbie could be Joker, and they just check it off for every single category.
Maybe. Costume design. I don't think there's no Color Purple. I won't have that getting in at this point. I don't think there's anything else major here. Nothing too crazy. I think
Wonka could still Color Purple now misses. What's your 5 then?
At the Oscars. Costume design?
At the Oscars.
Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things,
Wonka,
Maestro, and either Wonka, maybe Saltburn. Wonka or Saltburn.
I'm
One of
getting,
those two.
not that I would be worried, because like I love this movie, but I'm really eyeing whether Oppenheimer just sneaks into this category.
I mean, Irishman got in, but I don't think the costume
But
design on
Irishman,
this is
like the different eras that we went through, like
spits
help tell
like
the
decades.
story,
Yeah.
like. But I don't know. It could just be this thing. If Oppenheimer is that beloved, because that's the thing with the Oscars, that they're voted on by the branches. So it's not like you and me going down every category and being like, well, we give an Oppenheimer like 10 other awards. If the costume designers love that movie so much and they've already voted for 4, and they're like, well, listen, Oppenheimer is my favorite movie of the year, so Oppenheimer.
Maybe. I think those I'd rank it like 7th though, probably. Is there a world where Brooks slips out of the category altogether like Davis did for Woman King after that slip out of costumes? I do think Brooks can miss. I think she can
think
miss.
it's possible.
I don't think she's going to, but I think she can. And if, I mean,
Your
Color
5
Purple's
could be-
trajectory is just
Your 5
continually
could be
down.
Blunt, Divine Joy Randolph, Jodie
Moore.
Foster, Julianne Moore, and America Ferrera. That could be your Oscar.
Or Rosamund Pike.
Or Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
Or Claire Foy. I think
or
it's
Penelope Cruz. I doubt
saw that
it.
movie.
Ignore that. Yeah.
But it's such a great performance. I can't imagine people. I don't understand why it's being dismissed as much. Like, I don't know.
I think her performance is being highlighted. I think the film is being dismissed.
I know it's
for some reason.
Strange.
Yeah, it is. It is strange.
Because low. People had it high and then they had it low. Then it opened and people were high and then it's low and then high.
It's been a roller coaster. Yes. Is there a world where Cooper misses? I don't think so. I think he's getting nominated no matter what.
For director, yes.
I don't think. Yeah. No, but I think he probably doesn't miss. But I don't think he doesn't win either. So
we talked about it. I think was it last week or our last show that he's kind of sitting.
He might be my number 3 at this point. I might put Giamatti above him. There's a lot of love for that movie.
I'm feeling more confident by Cillian Murphy by the day, which probably means that he's going to lose the Golden Globe because that's the universal spite me.
That's fair. Yeah. Cillian Murphy would be like one of the best actor winners of like the last decade plus.
Oh my God. He would be the best since Casey Affleck.
I love Anthony Hopkins in The Father, so I don't know. That
was good. I liked Anthony Hopkins.
I love that performance. But yeah.
But
I
like Casey's more, so I would still say he's the best since Casey.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Oh, friend of the show, Utaka, sending in a super chat. Hello, Utaka. We did fix our super chat thing, and Jordan, has been using it a lot. Thank you, Jordan. And thank you, Utaka. Won't win, but loved Past Lives. Yes, Past Lives. I think we both loved it. Both on our top.
It could win an Oscar now. We'll talk about it.
I think it's going to win original screenplay.
Could we talk?
I think it is. Oh yeah, because Barbie is now. I always had Barbie in adapted screenplay, to be fair, but yeah, I think
I just was gonna go with
holdovers versus Past Lives.
No, I'm not going to debate that until they debate it for me. Yeah, it's holdovers versus Past Lives. It could be Licorice Pizza versus Belfast, and they go for the more sensitive.
But they'd like to go for writer directors. I can't remember the last time they went for a writer who was not the director of the
film.
And
Celine Song, I think, is a bigger talent than David Hedingson. She's more, I think, respected from the industry for just achieving what Past Lives does. And yeah, I think Past Lives just shows real strength across the board, more so than we thought. It's really becoming A24's priority.
I think like Women Talking last year, if you want to vote for that film and like funnel your passion into one place, it is in that category.
I wouldn't
even,
no shot anymore. I think it's even possible that if Color Purple's on the downward slope and maybe people just they think Margot Robbie's taking care of in Best Picture, Greta Lee
is very
sneak in there, and that could be your Kristen Stewart Spencer type of. I think Past Lives, Utaka, money well spent, because I do think bringing up Past Lives. I think Past Lives is it's on the rise again.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably like what, top 7? I don't know if it's quite top 5, but it's secure for picture and screenplay.
I think it might be higher. Well, and I think it's at the same level as Maestro. And it might be higher.
Yeah, I think it's higher than Maestro. I think Maestro.
The industry loves Maestro, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. I think there's probably more passion for Past Lives.
Bradley Cooper.
Yes. Here we go. Murphy is winning Olivia Colman style.
Wouldn't
Maybe, but I
laugh.
think Murphy might. I'd love him winning. I think, unlike Olivia Colman, though, he might just be sweeping.
He might win Joaquin Phoenix style.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix style. But yeah, I think he's winning.
Because
And
what
I,
would the Golden Globes would really be? But see, the Golden Globes of yore might go for Cooper.
mhm.
The current Golden Globes, they might go Cillian Murphy. I
They're
mean,
more criticky. Cillian Murphy has won a lot more critic awards and even been nominated than Murphy. I think Cooper.
and he
Got
could win
these last
SAG,
names.
and he could win BAFTA. He could win everywhere.
He could.
Let's not deny that Oppenheimer is nearly $1 billion movie. Everybody saw it. It helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, R.I.P. the Patti LuPone nomination. I think we both loved that performance and that film. At least Joaquin Phoenix got the Golden Globe nomination. But
And
yeah.
Parker Posey got into White Lotus season 3 off of it. So
Yes. Let's get Patti LuPone in there too.
Yeah,
She'd be great
Patti
in a
LuPone
White Lotus season.
would be. Listen, she's going to Agatha. That's like
That's fair.
The Marvel
We'll
version of the White Lotus.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, let's speed through the rest of these. Editing, I don't think there was any crazy misses here. No holdovers, so maybe that doesn't get in at editing.
I'm gonna wait for Asetti to tell me.
Yeah, I am as well. I think that might be after Oscar nominations though, so we'll have to see.
Oh no,
Might have to decide without it. Because I know WJ is definitely after Oscar nominations this year. Makeup and hair, no Last Voyage of the Demeter, which I thought might be getting in. Golda gotten. I think it's still possible. It's showy makeup. He's like a whole vampire.
Yeah.
Golda got in both places. So
No Society of the Snow, which got shortlisted at the Oscars.
That's true. Barbie's here, even though it's not at the Oscars. This will be an interesting category. Poor Things is definitely in there. Maestro is definitely in there.
Kill Star Moon got in both places.
I still don't. Maybe. I just don't get that. Oppenheimer is definitely in there. And I don't know.
Oppenheimer should win. I'm sorry. I rewatched it. The transformation they give to Gary Oldman is just as impressive as what they do in Maestro or any of these other movies about these historical figures. And then you have the fact they have to age up all the characters throughout the movie. It's such subtle, impressive work. I like the makeup that's more subtle. It's why, like, one of the more, like, for me, yes, Bombshell was impressive for Megyn Kelly, the transformation with Charlize Theron. But what I thought was even more impressive, why I would have given it the win that year, is the progression of Margot Robbie turning more into the Fox News anchor with her makeup and hair appearance throughout the movie, becoming more part of that cult of personality. Like, that was the makeup that really impressed me as far as telling the story. That's what I like about makeup, is what it tells the story. So I would give it to Oppenheimer. Surprise, surprise. I would give
one. It's a good one. Speaking of Oppenheimer, it'll be winning original score. No Boy in the Heron here, I guess, is a big miss. No Elemental.
No Zone of Interest.
No Zone of Interest. That was the big one. Mika Levi.
Indiana Jones.
I'm telling you guys, VFX and score. It's happening. It shouldn't, but it's going to. But yeah, I think everything else is pretty much. Killers will get in there. Oppenheimer will. Poor Things will. I think Spider-Verse is probably pretty safe. And then Indiana Jones. Production design. No Color Purple. I think that's really it in terms of misses. That's it. And special visual effects.
Guess what's here?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Well, yes, but there's
getting
another
nominated. Oh, Mission Impossible.
There's another movie.
Wonka.
No,
back. Oppenheimer. You're gonna bring up Oppenheimer again? Yes. Deserving. It's not gonna get at the Oscar.
I didn't vote. It's ridiculous.
Yep. But I imagine Oscar is what we've got. I think we got these three at the Oscars, and then Poor Things probably, and then
I want Poor Things to win. Now that Oppenheimer's not in there and Barbie's not in there, like, give it to Poor Things.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla. No Godzilla here. I think that'll still happen.
Poor Things or Godzilla.
Yes. The low budgets that could. And then I think this is the last one. Sound. I don't think there's any crazy misses here. Barbie, Killers, Oppenheimer, Zone, Maestro, Napoleon. Yeah. Expected stuff there. So, unrelated, saw Sweeney Todd on Wednesday. Ashford deserves Tony. We'll see if Joe Locke can sing Sondheim.
Thank you.
This means something to you. This is a foreign language to me.
Well, if you watched our Tony special last June, which
Hmm.
we'll probably do again because a lot of you
Yes,
watched and enjoyed. And if you haven't, I mean, you could always go back. I don't
you
know how
could
enjoyable these punditry shows are once you know the winners.
once it's all happened.
You can
Yeah.
find out if we're full of shit or not.
Right.
But yeah, listen, Annalie Ashford gave the best performance I've ever seen on a Broadway stage. I agree with you. I love Kimberly Kimbo though. It announced it was closing, so if you're in the New York area, go see it. It's a great show. Deserved the Tony. But I agree, Annalie Ashford incredible, and I am very excited to see if Joe Locke can, from Heartstopper, can. I imagine he can. I
We'll
can't
see.
imagine them giving him the job if he can't sing Sondheim. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to see, actually, I'm seeing Ashford and Groban's final performance in 2 weeks. So,
Ooh,
and
nice.
then I'll probably go see Joe Locke. I love Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
It's my
I
favorite.
have seen a Sweeney Todd play before, though. It was a high school play, but it was good. It was good. It's not Broadway or anything, but it was good. But yes, that is it for the BAFTA long lists. I spent a little bit on that, but that's fine. There's a lot to talk about.
We use that as our news update, and it's just like
Yeah.
cat with yarn, or like the Charlie Day meme,
Yeah.
Carol. We just link everything.
Now, Spider-Verse is definitely. I don't know if Spider-Verse would get. I still just have doubts about an animated film getting visual effects. I mean,
Kubo. You mean animated films?
but that's
stop motion.
Yeah, because the only ones that have gotten it are what, Kubo and Nightmare, I think, and those are both stop motion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see. It's possible. I would like for it to happen. We should sing Little Priest sometime. I don't know what that means, but I can't carry a tune.
The song at the end of Act 1 where Sweeney and Mrs. Levitt decide that they're going to bake people into pies.
Okay, I guess maybe we'll make that a super chat goal. Jordan, never mind. Jordan will definitely get us there. So never mind.
Yes, we'll dress up. We'll do it. I would love.
Yeah.
We do a Sweeney Todd live in concert, Oscar film forecast.
Yeah, I'd have to get some vocal lessons before that, but yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm wearing
see,
my Rouge shirt. Listen, the theater kid never dies.
I
will go. I'll turn the show into a Tony show real quick.
Yes, and I do think Spider-Verse is out of Best Picture for sure.
PGA is the only place it can stake any sort of
maybe, and even then, I don't think that's enough to get into picture.
They just don't.
It's an animated film every year.
I think that I really don't know why, because it's when they opened the category up to 10, it was like immediately up Toy Story 3 and then boom down. I think because people like
they're now letting more international films in.
I think that's really what it comes down to. It's the same reason why, people like Charlize Theron wasn't nominated for Mad Max Fury Road, because, the writers think that performances need words. I just think that certain people think that that's not what they love about movies, and there's enough people that have that distance between them and animated pictures. And then definitely, I don't think any superhero movie, it's why whatever Return of the Kings type thing that you wanted to give to Endgame, once Scorsese came out in the weekend Joker came out, funnily enough, bye-bye Endgame. And then also that Joker was the movie of the year. But I just think this year, definitely no superhero movie.
No.
Definitely a Spider-Man movie is not getting
no superhero movie anytime soon. I don't think, unless
you
count Joker. I don't think that's gonna happen either. I personally predict early 2025 Oscar prediction that movie is going to be a big mess. That's what I would
say. I mean, people thought the first one was a big mess, and it got in most nominated film of 2019.
Don't remind me.
Again,
let's move on.
Fan, I will cross my fingers.
We'll see. Let's move on to our guild predictions, where let's do that works. Lots of different options. Let's start with SAG Ensemble. As you may see here, I have Saltburn getting in as my different thing. It makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, it's I think the 6th most logged film on Letterboxd of last year. Everyone seems to have seen it, and it's a huge voting body that's popular.
And what movie got in here last year?
It's a great ensemble. Babylon. Exactly. And there's always at least one movie, which will probably be The Color Purple this year as well, but that gets in SAG Ensemble, but doesn't get in at the Oscars. Probably have 2 this year, but it makes more sense to me than anything. Like maybe American Fiction. I don't really see anything else.
Did not get in here, which is why I would not put Poor Things on this list.
That's the Emma Stone show.
I agree. I love Saltburn, and I think it makes complete sense with this voting body.
Yeah.
I think the only other one to look out for is, I mean, people will say the Iron Claw, but I wonder if that came on a little too late. And also, I think that's another movie where people really are saying it's the Zac Efron show. Um,
Hmm.
I would just give a little bit of attention to the holdovers because I do think that could be a Banshees of Inisherin type, not
Maybe.
especially because I think that one of the best contenders of that film doesn't have a chance to get into the independent category, which is Dominic Sessa, who might win the Critics' Choice Best Young Actor award.
Hmm.
And so I do think that that film could sneak into that five.
It
Saltburn
could.
too divisive, but I like this five. I do.
It
Um,
makes sense. Makes
yeah.
sense.
And
Not
you think
lots of
Barbie
people. I
wins?
think I do think Barbie wins. It's Barbie or Oppenheimer. I don't think color. I thought Color Purple had a shot at one chance, but I don't think so anymore. Um, it could be
And
either of them.
listen,
I think
we
Barbie.
thought it was Moonlight versus Fences, and then in came Hidden
That's
Figures.
true.
So you
I
never
think Hidden
know.
Figures hadn't had a drop quite like Color Purple has had at this point, though.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think the
Hidden
problem with
Figures
Color
was
Purple,
ascending to the
yeah,
SAG Ensemble thing, whereas Color Purple is kind of like going down.
I think when we do our referendum on this season, we're just going to say that the Color Purple had too high expectations because it's the Color Purple, producers of Spielberg, Oprah Winfrey,
Mhm.
Quincy Jones. Like it could not match the expectations it established for itself, fairly or not, and that's what I think ended up happening.
Yeah, yeah. I do think this has happened times before in the past, for actors getting in, but the film I think Favorite happened 3 acting nominations, but no ensemble.
Yeah.
Um, I think it could happen with multiple films this
That's
year.
why
We'll see.
Banshees was so interesting because all four of them got
It was just
nominated,
4 performances. Yeah.
and then they
Mhm.
all got the ensemble. So
I think that was a first, but yeah.
yeah.
Um, that's pretty simple, I think, for SAG Ensemble. Best Actress. As you can see, I'm still hope dicting here in that last spot
Hmm.
because it's a Netflix movie, and SAG, more than any voting body, loves their Netflix movies. I guess you could say Annette Bening makes more sense than, but I don't know. I'm sticking with it until I get proven otherwise because she's actress playing an actress. She's Natalie Portman. I think this voting body will like May December compared to the BAFTAs. Um, and yeah, it's a Netflix movie, but who would you have in fifth instead? I imagine because it's tricky, but I think that top 4 is pretty safe, but
But
that
see,
fifth spot's up in the air.
um they went for Jennifer Hudson for respect. They like
Mhm,
musical performances, and obviously they
mhm.
like American Idol performers. So I
That's
feel like
true.
Fantasia has a chance to get in, especially because this
Mhm.
is the voting body that we assume is probably going to be the highest on Color Purple.
I
Uh,
think so, yeah.
so I probably would keep Fantasia in at 5, but I also think Natalie Portman could just walk in Amy Adams hillbilly elegy style and just be like,
A little bit of a better
love me
performance, but
before,
yes.
and you'll love me again. Um,
Mhm.
and you think Lily Gladstone's winning?
I do, I do. It just makes sense to me. I think all of the love for that film is directed at her.
So this would be then where she solidifies herself because I think that
Mhm.
Critics'
Like last
Choice
year.
will probably. Do you think Critics' Choice is going to go Lily
I think
Gladstone?
Critics' Choice will go Gladstone as well. I think
Oh,
they're
okay.
gonna
Well
hop on
then
that
she would have
train.
already went in as a front runner.
Yeah,
It's possible. Again, I'm interested. I'm interested to see if
between
people
those
really
2.
go for the absurdity of Stone's performance because I do think when we look back, it's the most original character, it's the biggest performance, and it is just a stunning piece of acting to see her age 35 years
Yeah,
in 2 hours.
yeah, yeah. I still need to see this. I'd love for Society of the Snow to get an ensemble nom. I think it came out on Netflix a few days ago. I am
Yeah,
planning to watch it soon, but I mean, just from the trailer alone, it seems like a great acting ensemble. Great reviews. I look forward to watching it.
but the
Um,
SAG like names, so
mhm, and there's no big names in that. Yeah, and this is for SAG. Yes, this is our at least my SAG predictions. I don't know. I think Ashley
I'm
has
pretty close.
Bruno instead,
Yeah.
probably. But Benning could win. I don't know. I think Benning. I think that film is really Jodie Foster now. Honestly, at
Well,
this
the
point,
fact that True Detective is the best thing happening to Nyad's campaign tells you all you need to know about
that
Nyad's campaign.
that timing is perfect. That has to be intentional, right? But it doesn't make sense though, because it's like
It's
HBO
happened
and
twice.
Netflix.
It's 3 times. Matthew McConaughey and Mahershala Ali. Like,
Yeah.
this is a science they released.
HBO just must like plan it out so that it happens that way, because I mean it's dropping on the 14th, like smack in the middle of voting, and everyone the reviews are great. Everyone's gonna watch it, so
Maybe
I
that's the
feel
good
pretty
luck
good.
charm, because I think Rachel McAdams and Vince Vaughn didn't have any Oscar hopefuls when season 2 was released, and that's usually looked at
Yeah,
as the worst season.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And yeah, betting is very possible as well. She could be the SAG pick. I'm just going with one that I like more. But she has more of a narrative than Portman also as well. Um, but yeah, let us see. Moving on, Best Actor. I've got Murphy, Cooper, Giamatti, Wright, and Domingo. I'm so close to putting Zac Efron in there, but I just don't know if once again enough people have seen it. I think DiCaprio's
You
missing
really
here.
think they've seen it less than they've seen Rustin?
Yeah, but I mean they put an Adam Sandler for Hustle or whatever that was last year in here
Not
because it was
Hustlers. I would have loved
I
to
was
see
about to say
Hustlers.
Hustlers. Yeah. But they do random Netflix nominations in this category all the time. And I think Coleman Domingo, he's a charming actor who's been campaigning. It kind of makes sense to me. But
I'm
it
not,
could just
I'm not knocking it.
be
I
the
just think that
Oscar 5.
I do think the Iron Claw came on strong. A lot of people, I think, maybe saw it over the holidays. Um, you don't have Leo in there either. This is very interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, it could just be Leo, and then I think the SAG Actor 5, like for the last few years, has been like 5. Not last year, but in what 2020, it went like 5 for 5 with Javier Bardem. So it could just be DiCaprio in that 5th spot, and then that's your Oscar 5 as well. But DiCaprio, I think, is a little weak, But I think it's that top 7 is really anyone who it could be. But yeah, who would you have in? Would you have
I
DiCaprio
don't.
nominated?
It's tough because like it's. I feel like it's Leo,
It is Leo.
and he's a popular actor, and this is a
Hmm.
popular movie that's getting into ensemble. I'm looking back at like how this voting body usually goes. You're very close with the Oscars, so I feel like almost inclined to just put it
Hmm.
in my Oscar 5. Um,
It makes sense. That's probably the safe thing to do.
yeah, they did go like Christian Bale and Taron Egerton when the Oscars
Hmm.
went for um,
Price and
Price
Banderas.
and
Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. Thank you. So
Yeah.
like I don't know. I could see Zac Efron, but at the same time,
That's very Taron Egerton-y, but it's not as showy, probably biopic-y as
I
that.
don't know if he got in at the Globes or Critics' Choice.
Zac Efron. Yeah. I think there have been multiple movies that I think December releases have been fumbled. I think had better shots if they weren't
Well,
released so late.
A24 just had
They
two.
should have pushed this to next year, to be honest, because I don't know what they have next year, but they already had enough contenders, and I think this could have been a legit contender
I
if
don't
handled
think
right.
they expected Past Lives to be as strong as it was.
No, I don't think they. Well, I think they did at first, and I think then they switched to Zone of Interest. And now they still haven't like. I think they're going more with Past Lives than Zone of Interest, but I think they're trying to like handle both right now, which we'll see. They have never gotten into Best Picture before, but I think they could this year. And this is what helps with every Netflix film. It's easily accessible. So I think, and he's like it's a biopic thing, which they do like in that branch. So I think it's possible.
Usually, I feel like the biopics things help because they know who the person is. I don't know how many people know of this
No,
individual.
but he's still like doing like such a distinct, like showy performance. Like his like awards baitiness is on the same level as Bradley Cooper and Maestro, to be honest.
But I think
Um,
part of what makes the biopic performances appealing to actors and to everybody who likes those performances is because they're like, you're like the guy. If they don't know who the guy is, then I think that hurts him a little bit. But this is a group that's seen Color Purple that will boost him here. It's possible. I think that it's possible. And listen, Leonardo DiCaprio missed for Don't Look Up, so and Javier Bardem got him.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's and Don't Look Up was an ensemble nod, lest
Hmm.
you forget.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
I think it's one that top 7. I think it's in there.
Yeah, and I agree that
Um,
Bradley Cooper has a stronger chance here than Giamatti, and it's flipped at the Oscars. But
mhm.
Cillian Murphy, especially if Oppenheimer doesn't win ensemble, which is possible, but I still think it's going to win ensemble. Then
Oh, you have that winning ensemble. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think people look at Oppenheimer
Close.
as really as acting with a capital A. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah,
It's between those two for sure. It will be one of them.
it's between those two and everything. The
For
Globes,
everything.
the only chance where it's not going to be those two competing in every category because they're and separate.
Mm-hmm. Swan Arlod, I agree, has been underlooked. He's amazing in Anatomy of a Fall. I mean, Milo is obviously, I think, my personal supporting standout of that film, but he's very good in it. Very good. And so is the guy who plays like the evil, not evil, but like asshole
The
lawyer on the
prosecutor.
other side. Yeah, the prosecutor. Ugh, hate him. And so is the dog. Maybe I think the
Oh my
best
god,
dog
you and
performance I've
Snoop
ever seen.
Dogg.
Snoop the dog is like a better actor than a lot of working actors right now. It's
All right,
crazy.
move on.
I won't name names, but
Keep going.
Black Toad is mentioning rewatching all the seasons of True Detective right now, and Auntie just confirmed something I had on had in my mind. He's absolutely right. What were you saying
I mean, this is the
about the Oscar thing?
maybe that's it. But yeah,
Probably.
it's well, because I think listen, if you're a producer and you're picking a release date, it helps because everybody's talking about your actor. Like, I'm gonna watch True Detective.
Some of it has to be coincidence, though. The fact that there's like like all these actors have an Oscar thing the
You're
same
Matthew
time as an
McConaughey,
HBO.
and you want people to take you seriously, and it just happens that the show that maybe you give a not only your best, people might say that that's his better performance in Dallas Buyers Club. He might have won for Dallas Buyers Club because of his performance in True Detective, and the fact that it happened with Mahershala Ali for the Green Book year, you can't ignore the coincidence, and the fact that again the worst reviewed season was the year that didn't happen. There was no such actor who could benefit in that way. Listen, Jodie Foster is in my top. We can talk about it. It might be, or no, we still have to do Best Actress, but she's in my 5.
She's in my 5 as well because of True Detective, and she hasn't missed anything yet. If we're being honest, she hasn't missed a single thing.
She's great in the movie, but she will get in.
She's the best part.
People are talking about her because of True Detective.
That will be a huge boost. Yes. I don't know about Rustin for Ensemble. I just don't think enough people have seen the film. It is a great ensemble with all the people in it, but I just don't think enough. I think that's Coleman, Domingo, or bust.
How much do you think that the people voting for SAG Ensemble are voting? Yes, they vote for the ensemble, but really they're voting for Best Picture.
Like for what wins ensemble or what gets nominated?
No, just the idea that they're not going for like
the actual ensemble. They're just going for the film.
The Holdovers versus the Iron Claw. You may say the Iron Claw is the better ensemble, but the Holdovers.
They're just going for what movie they like more.
So that's I think part of it. That I think it was Jordan, right?
Yeah.
To Jordan's point, even if Rustin has an impressive ensemble with a lot of people, if the movie's not great, like I'm trying to think of like when was the time when the ensemble was great but the movie wasn't, and that the fact that the ensemble was good got it into the category.
How much did you like Crazy Rich Asians?
I think it was a good movie, and I think
it
was part of the moment that Black Panther then won on, which is this was a year to honor that sort of racial achievement of inclusion. But I would not put that in like bad movie territory.
No, I don't think it's anywhere near the top 5 of that year though.
Like I would put Don't Look Up in that category, but people like that movie. So
I put Trial of Chicago 7 in that category.
People like that movie. So I think it's the thing, like Rustin, again, nobody's talking about it. I think Coleman Domingo being an overlooked actor is really the only thing keeping it in, but Lenny Kravitz getting in for Song is really the only Oscar nomination I see it getting now. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, I agree. Similar to True Detective, keep an eye on guests for SNL. This is true. The awards contenders always go for, I believe Jacob Elordi is up next. So there you go. So we'll see.
It helps.
It does help. Listen, I think Emma Stone just
did. Conversation. You got to stay in the conversation.
I'd love to see Lily Gladstone host SNL.
Yeah,
I think she'd kill it.
Yeah. Again, just to close the button on True Detective, why I think that helps exceptionally well is because it is an HBO show. But like Succession is not the Jeremy Strong vehicle. Like it's Jesse Armstrong, Sarah Snook. Like it's an ensemble. It's great writing. True Detective is built on this is the season of blank actor. This is the Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson season. This is the Jodie Foster season. And the reason why you're watching and you're being blown away in the current moment is because of that actor who came in to give their flavor to True Detective. It is a brilliantly constructed show to showcase an actor. And also it's compelling and usually it's different from whatever they're campaigning for. That's
it is for this as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet really should have released a movie during Mayor of Easttown. Should have just shot something.
It's the lost season of True Detective.
Yeah, it is similar. It's a great season.
Should have waited. Ammonite should have came out a year later.
I don't think that would have helped, sadly, but yeah. Yes, so that's Best Actor. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Supporting Actress. Oh, that was next. Divine Randolph, Emily Blunt, Julianne Moore, Danielle Brooks, Jodie Foster. I think that's your Oscar 5 as well, honestly.
Yeah, and we talked about Ferrera and Pike, who seem to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I would put Viola Davis. I think has a chance to sneak in here, because they really do
Just
love
hasn't
her
gotten anything, though.
But I think Air could sneak into PGA, and maybe Viola Davis could, like, it could get crumbs here.
Maybe.
All right, let's talk about this.
For who? Rachel McAdams?
No, not Rachel McAdams.
Let's talk about Rachel McAdams. No. I wish.
Best Supporting Actress. Who won in 2019? Mr. Murphy.
2019, like the movie year or like the awards year?
Awards year. So 20.
Regina King.
Not here.
Oh, not here. Emily Blunt. Yes, Emily Blunt. I thought you meant the Oscar.
Yeah. This is the thing. I think Divine Joy Randolph is very, very good in The Holdovers, but I don't think that it's a very subtle performance. It's a very quiet performance. Frankly, I think we're giving people maybe a little bit too much credit to think that that type of performance wins a supporting actress category. I think it's a little too subtle. And then it comes down to Brooks versus Blunt. If Color Purple is underperforming, which we have seemingly agreed it is.
Oh, yeah.
I really think that it's very possible. Emily Blunt not only is a consistent part of that movie, but she has a scene. And I know people don't seem to like this performance, but they love her. People love Emily Blunt. She's a movie star. They really respect. They've loved her since Devil Wears Prada. She's won a SAG award before for a movie that nobody thought she was going to win for. Yeah. She's in what many people consider to be the best movie of the year. And I do think she does hold her own against Oscar-worthy and winning performances. I think it's very possible that she wins here, she wins the BAFTA, and then she wins the Oscar.
Maybe.
I'm going to go out the limb just because I want to have fun, and we're in January, and that's when you can have fun.
Yes.
Before it's written in stone. I don't know. To me, I
totally see it.
I have the thing about Divine Joy Randolph that you had about Cody Smith-McPhee.
You can't see her holding the award.
Don't see it happening. I think it has Laurie Metcalf written all over it, and I would be fine being wrong. It's a great performance. She's a wonderful actor. And I do think that Danielle Brooks could be hurt, even though, listen, Dreamgirls didn't get in for Best Picture and still Jennifer Hudson won. But I also think the thing about Jennifer Hudson is that I wonder if there was some people who felt like, oh, she should have won American Idol. Well, we're going to vote for her now. Like if it was a little bit of an IOU over that could have helped her.
American Idol was popular.
So, yeah. And I do think that it also helps that whether you know musicals or not, and I'm telling you I'm not going, that's a way more iconic song than anything Danielle Brooks gets to sing in Color Purple. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the performances that won, All That Jazz for Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I'm telling you for Jennifer Hudson, I Dreamed a Frickin' Dream for Les Mis and Anne Hathaway. Even West Side Story, like America, like I think that's what's maybe hurting Danielle Brooks a little bit. It's just that
I think she still has the best musical moment in the maybe second best musical moment in the film.
It's good, but I don't know if I would put Hell No on that the same level.
Oh no, it's below all of
from
those,
the music, like the craft of the song and how iconic the song is. That could be hurting her. So I'm just going to go with what I think is, and what we saw last year, which is that the actor matters more than the performance.
Yeah.
And if they think it's Emily Blunt's time and she paid her dues, it's her first nomination, just like it was for Jamie Lee Curtis at the Oscar, it will be. But they love her at SAG. She gives a great speech. And I do think if people love Oppenheimer as much as they do, I'm going to call it now. And people can laugh at me later.
I can see it.
But
no,
as the only person,
Dern style as well. Like,
I'm going to call it. I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm not so sure it will happen at the Globes. I think this is something that happens at SAG on. But I'm going to.
No, I don't think the Globes will do it.
I'm putting her one at SAG. She's the
It's such an interest
that helps.
It's an interesting thing though, because I don't think this will happen, but I could honestly still see a world where she misses the Oscar nomination.
Really?
I don't think that will happen. I think that she could be the person who like hits every precursor and then somehow misses Oscar morning.
Your Lady Gaga.
Because people thought Lady Gaga could win at this point as well during that award season. I think she'll be nominated. And I think she could win. That's why I have her at number 2 here, because she won for A Quiet Place. I think they nominated her as well for Mary Poppins that same year.
Double. And it was It was the Roma actresses that knocked her out at the Oscars. Yalitza,
Yes.
and Marina de Tavira, which great performances.
Deserved. Yeah.
Not too upset.
I
But
could see it. I'm gonna stick with Divine right now, though. Just she seems unstoppable at this point. But I agree with you. It's not the kind of performance that we've seen win here
I
often.
just want to know what the industry thinks of Blunt's performance, because I do think they put her like they don't put her in the category of Florence Pugh and Matt Damon. She definitely, I think people are giving her props in
Yeah.
if she's put in a camp, she's not in the Pugh,
She's with RDJ
not
and
in the Kenneth
Killian.
Branagh camp. She's in the
No.
Murphy Downey camp. And I think
Yeah.
she, alongside Downey, Murphy, and Nolan, are kind of the faces of Oppenheimer. So that's
I mean, just
another.
look at the Q&As. Yeah.
And listen, we've seen performances, but not a lot of screen time. I mean, Judi Dench won for 8 minutes in Shakespeare in Love.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
will say it's just one scene. Well, I mean, look at Dern, as just was mentioned. She won for really one
Pretty
scene.
much one scene. Yeah. I mean, she has some other great moments when she's ordering salads, but I
She's
mean,
taking her shoes off on the couch. It's a great performance.
yeah, she's very good. I don't know if she
Yeah,
should have won. But
listen, Academy Award winner Laura Dern just sounds right, even though I probably would
yeah.
have given it to Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, really? I would have done Florence Pugh, I think, out
Oh,
of the nominations.
what a year. Both Black Widows. I was very happy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. So in my gut is telling me go for Blunt. Go for Blunt. It makes
I can totally see it. It totally does make sense.
The Color Purple misses picture. I think Blunt.
I don't think Daniel Brooks is winning no matter what at this point. I don't think Color Purple is getting picture in any world at this point. So yeah, I think it's probably Divine and Emily for the win. I think it's really those two are your potential winners.
And Emily has paid her dues, I think, from the industry's perspective. You know,
she has. I just do wonder. I don't know if we're gonna get another 3 out of 4 acting winners for the same movie, like the same year after.
Crazy. Though I would, no offense, I love Everything Everywhere. I would love this trio a lot more, for me at least.
I know.
It's tough.
I like Killian. That's the only one.
But listen, I'll be the first to admit that it's very close in the acting races. You know, Murphy maybe doesn't win, and Gosling could surprise, or Melton. You know, that'd be funny if Emily Blunt was the only Oppenheimer acting.
I don't think there's a world where that happens, though. That would be insane. For her 2 minutes of screen time.
But, I don't know. Listen, Oppenheimer, we've never seen anything like Oppenheimer, just as we've never seen anything like Everything.
Not anytime recently.
It's rare to see 2 movies back to back that are so unique. As far as there's never been a movie like this ever made, ever, that has achieved what these films have achieved. Like you go back to Spotlight and Birdman, like that's what you kind of expect. 12 Years a Slave. Everything Everywhere and Oppenheimer are 2 back-to-back just grand slams as far as Best Picture winners.
Yeah. I agree. I think worth mentioning, I don't know if we talked about it, America for Barbie, I think it's very possible. I think she's in. We talked about it earlier with the BAFTA.
She could take Julianne Moore's spot if May December is less looked upon.
And I do wonder about
Rosamund Pike. She could take that.
That's true. I think Rosamund Pike is very, very possible.
They went for Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, they did. Don't remind me of that. If there's an Eddie Redmayne here, it'd probably be Viola Davis.
Don't you besmirch.
No, I know. I'm joking. And I do wonder about Taraji P. Henson and like the way the stuff she's been talking about on the campaign. I do think actors could sympathize with. I just don't think the film is that.
She's going to get nominated with the ensemble, though. So
with the ensemble, yeah, that's true. Supporting actor. This is getting to a point where this is just going to be the 5 everywhere, don't you think?
I could see Sterling K. Brown getting in here in the same way that Jamie Foxx was able to get in for Just Mercy at SAG.
Over De Niro?
Potentially, or over Ruffalo, or even over Melton, since Melton is shown now to be expendable when it comes to BAFTA.
I don't think that's SAG, though.
Yeah, I don't either, but I think Sterling K. Brown is the only other person that could sneak in. He could be your Brian Tyree Henry of this year, but yeah, I just think that setting aside maybe people's issues with May December, I do think that this is your 5. I mean, we would
very safe.
Really underperform for Melton to be taken out, and I also think that Mark Ruffalo is clearly now the poor things boy, as I thought he would be when I saw it. I was like, I love you, Willem Dafoe, but Mark Ruffalo is the clear. What's his name? I was going to say Dominic something. It's not. What's his name?
Sessa?
No, not
Rami Youssef?
no. What's Mark Ruffalo's character's name? It's blank Wedderburn.
Oh, I
Um,
don't know.
Duncan
I saw it a long
Wedderburn.
time ago. Duncan,
Yeah,
yeah, Duncan, yeah. He is the standout amongst the two. I agree.
this is dance.
Um,
So good. I want Yorgos Lanthimos to do a musical. I think every movie he does with is a dance. It's the best.
yeah, yeah. His dance. That's probably the best scene in that whole film. I love that scene.
Ooh, that's a good
I'm going
question.
to go punch that baby.
That's the best
But
scene.
yeah,
So good. Oh,
I love that scene. But yeah, I think this is almost feeling too safe, but I honestly don't see what it
no,
could
that's
be.
what I feel.
So
Like something's wrong here, but I don't know what it
something,
is.
it feels too nice to be this confident in this early in January. But I mean, the nominations are in like 2 weeks, so. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about this. Stunt Ensemble is interesting. I don't know. I have John Wick, Mission Impossible. I put the Iron Claw here because I think there's some stunts in there. It's wrestling, and it's a good. I haven't seen anyone else put it in there, which I was surprised about. But it's. I think enough people have seen it, and it's seen as like a stunty movie. Barbie, there's dance scenes, and there's usually at least one Best
Fight.
Picture
There's
nominee
Ken
that gets
War.
in here. There's a Ken fight, exactly. And Hunger Games is just because like it's popular on TikTok, I guess. I don't know. And there's TikTok influencers in SAG.
Honestly, if we're being completely honest, because I'm going to pull up 2019 in this category, we had Avengers Endgame 1, we had
Yes.
Ford v Ferrari,
Okay.
Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Irishman. So I think there's a possibility where Kills the Flower Moon just walks into this category.
Maybe, but there's more stunts in Irishman, I think, than in Killers of the Flower Moon.
You
What
had an
stunts are there?
explosion, and you had a house on fire.
I guess there's like some dancing.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
what I'm more interested is what wins, John Wick or Mission Impossible, because Mission Impossible is the stuff.
Mission Impossible has they're both big stunt movies, but I think Mission Impossible has the better ensemble. I think John Wick is the Keanu Reeves show.
So then, do you have Mission Impossible as one?
I probably would have it at one. Yeah, I didn't rank it in terms of winning. I probably should have, but I guess, or maybe Barbie just wins SAG Ensemble and Stunt Ensemble.
Yeah,
is that possible?
I don't think
if that's
Black
been
Panther
done.
win both, or no? Did Infinity War? What one?
I think Infinity War.
No, Black Panther won both.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, and Barbie is kind of similar to Black Panther, in box office wise. So we'll see. We'll see. Many have seen Saltburn. Yeah, watch out for Lordy and Pike. I would agree.
I would put more weight on Pike than a Lordy, just because I think Pike is more revered.
That category is more fluid as well.
Yeah.
Than, so, as we said in Sporting Actor, that 5.
A Lordy made a long list. He's probably not going to make the short list or make the.
No, he's not going to make the final 6. He'll be one of the 4 that misses, I think. I just don't get, why are you giving us 10 people and then just getting rid of 4? Just like tell us your nominations.
It just seemed, and then all the people like, we made the BAFTA long list. It's like okay,
you're not nominated yet, though.
Yeah, it's like, but they act as if they are. It's such a weird idea that
we
are mid-process, and we're gonna show you our update. You know,
here's the update. We got rid of some people.
It's like they can do.
It's almost offensive.
How's it going? What's the meme? It's how it was. How's it go? I'm so bad.
How it was. Yeah, I know.
Is
I know
it how it was?
About.
Was it how it was? I made up. Is it how? What was
how it was? How's it going now or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Meme.
Oh my god. I'm tired.
Yeah, but I don't even know what we're talking.
How it started, how it's going.
Yeah, how it started, how it's going. Yes,
that's
exactly.
it. People
how it was.
In the comments, probably.
Yeah, how it started, how it's going. That makes more sense. Grammar. Back to onto the DGA. I think for director, it's one of these 6.
I agree. I think you got it perfect down there. I would say it's down to you have Yorgos in there. That's or you have Cooper higher. I would think it's Cooper versus Payne.
I feel pretty good about Cooper. I think, yeah, but Cooper got in for A Star Is Born. I think this is much more of a director achievement than A Star Is Born was.
Maybe you're all right. I think that could be your 5. I think
Lanthimos did miss for favorite though, so he could just miss again here. But I think
that was his coming
first time
for America.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I think I just don't know about Alexander Payne at this point. He could get in there, but I think that's a pretty good 5 there. And then Cooper is obviously the one who misses.
You know what else is a good 5? If that first time feature film list happens.
That's a good list.
And if Celine Song wins, I'd be very happy.
Also, I think worth mentioning, I think Polite Society is a first-time film, and Scrapper, but I think, and there's a few others, but I think those are the most well-known of the first-time films this year.
Right, like
I think some Spider-Verse people are first-time directors as well, but we'll see.
how does that work?
Nolan, yeah, one of them is, one of them isn't. Who knows? But yeah, Nolan and Celine Song seems pretty safe. Lanthimos could be higher. I just have him lower because he missed last time, and he's more European, and this is Director Guilds of America. So I think sometimes it might be a little
bit. I think that it has to happen at one point during the season. I don't care where, but the Peloton instructor needs to give Christopher Nolan a Best Director award.
She does. Golden Globes is perfect for that. Get her there.
Oh, get her on the phone. Did you see her response?
Yes, she responded. She likes Oppenheimer, and she didn't like Tenet. She's just like me. Just like me. What was Tenet? But Oppenheimer was great.
I love Tenet. I love Oppenheimer.
You do need a manual. Everything she spoke the truth about Tenet, if we're being honest. You need a manual to understand.
I won't hear it. I love Tenet. Watched it. I forget if I think I watched on my. I think the second time I watched on my phone. The first time I said I'm watching on my television because it was pandemic.
Oh wow! I saw it in theaters.
Oh good lord! I had only family members who I did not want to.
That's fair.
I was fair. As much as I love the movie, I wasn't going to kill them because of Tenet.
For Tenet, no.
But I just thought that was what a great comeback.
Amazing.
Love that. Love her.
And I love how Christopher Nolan is, I think, funnier than people give him credit for, because I love that he brought that up in his speech. How he was just on the
Peloton. That he's like this cold British man. It's like
because he's British.
One of his favorite movies of the he loves La La Land. He's great. He's Christopher Nolan.
People misread him.
We consider him this great austere cold filmmaker, and he made his name on a Batman movie. I feel like people forget who Christopher Nolan is just because he puts intellectual ideas. He talks about string theory in his popcorn movies. Yeah. Interstellar is all about the power of love in the fifth dimension. This is who he is. He's fun. He's, he is. I will stand by him until he wins his Oscar.
I'll stand by a lot of what he does. Tenet is not one thing, but you have some Tenet fans with you in the chat.
Elizabeth Debicki, come on. Robert Pattinson.
I love how he allowed her to be her height. I'll say that. She's 6 foot. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Could Gerwig get DGA and Nolan Oscar? I think Gerwig is pretty safe for a DGA nom and an Oscar nom, but I think Nolan is just sweeping the whole thing.
I think, I think. Why is she doing Narnia next? I mean, listen, if Narnia blows up, good for her. But I honestly feel like
Netflix too. Anywhere else but Netflix.
Because I feel that this feels like her Wolf of Wall Street. This is we could give it to you for this, but we're not.
Or her Dark Knight.
But Dark Knight was forever. I'm talking about I'm sorry, compared to Leo. Leo was we could give it to you for Wolf of Wall Street, but we're not. But whatever you do next, that's it. That's the one.
And they're not giving it to her for Narnia, so.
And they're not going to give it to Narnia. But if she did something to in theaters,
unless her Narnia films become Lord of the Rings, but that would have to be theatrically released for that to happen. Which
but yeah, I just don't. I think it's Nolan's time. I mean, he's the most influential filmmaker of the 21st century, and people have finally caught up with that. So it's his turn. And he is actually getting it for the movie. Let's be honest. We always knew this day would come, but he's actually getting it not for the Dark Knight.
He's getting it for the right movie.
Getting it for the right. When has that ever happened?
Not anytime recently. Really.
I'm trying to think. I guess Alfonso Cuarón, but he, even then,
he'd already won for Roma.
He won for Roma
by the time Roma came around.
Sure, they caught up with Y Tu Mama Tambien, but and Children of Men, and Prisoner of Azkaban. But even then, it's different. I guess Scorsese really was the last. But I mean, people liked The Departed. They thought that was one of his
if you count Bong Joon-ho, I think Parasite is probably his best film. But I don't know if there's an overdue factor for him as there is for the other directors. Yeah.
I just feel it's rare that we know, somebody that we know is going to win an Oscar, and then he actually wins it for his best movie. We waited for the right. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Last but not least, the Producers Guild. I'm not super confident with this. I think you've got your top 8 there of Oppenheimer, Barbie, Killers, Poor Things, Holdovers, American Fiction, Maestro, and Past Lives. I think all of those are getting in there. They don't do foreign films here because it's Producers Guild of America. So I think maybe May, December. I would love to see it. And Saltburn, I guess maybe, or maybe Spider-Man because that was a big hit. I
You
don't think
missed
The Color
one.
Purple. What did I
There's a movie
miss?
not on this list.
What did I miss? I just did this like seconds before the stream, so I may have missed something.
For the Producers Guild, Air. I think this is where
Oh,
Air pops up.
that could make sense.
Air over
That
May.
didn't do that well though, box office wise.
It appeals to the producers. I think it's a product movie.
It does.
And I still think, like, listen, Air popped up at the Globes. You know, it kicked Color
Yeah.
Purple out. It popped up in like interesting categories at Critics' Choice, like in editing. It's getting little things here and there, and this could be the thing it gets that people go like, "Oh, Air, we now have to take it seriously." And
I
won't,
just am
I
hoping
think
that film gets
Saltburn and Air
absolutely
could be
nothing.
your. It maybe Spider-Verse, maybe Color
I could see
Purple,
Spider-Verse too.
but
Well, Spider-Verse was like an actual hit, which no offense to Color Purple, I think it will probably end up losing money at the end of the day.
But I'm gonna
Wonka
go.
did do well too. I don't know if that's a PGA thing though.
No. I'm gonna go. I'm going Air. I think this is where Air gets its.
I could see that. I should have put that. I'd probably have it at like 11 or 12, but I think I'd do May, December, and maybe Spider-Verse instead of Saltburn because that was actually a hit. Mario Bros. This is also a thing with Spider-Verse because they do have PGA and animated category. I think Mario Bros. Will be nominated in that category.
It's like
they nominate
all the Rise of Gru.
They do all the Illumination films there.
Oh,
so yeah, that'll probably be what Mario, Spider-Verse, Elemental, TMNT, and would they do Boy Heron?
Oh no, maybe not. Then maybe Wish.
But that wasn't a hit. That was a flop.
Nimona.
Nimona's like Netflix though, because Boy and the Heron did pretty well at the box office. I
think Boy and the Heron eligible if it's not American.
Oh, America. That's true. I don't know.
Oh, America.
Oh, America. I forgot about the A part. Well, if not Boy and the Heron, then I would think Nimona probably. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
And then they also do Producers Guild doc category, but I've got no clue what's happening there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If Five Nights at Freddy's gets in, I quit. I would also quit. I would just disappear from the planet. Because that's one of the we didn't do a worst list because we don't believe in that stuff.
But you can parse through.
You can guess that might have.
I've already dropped something about what's going to be on my worst list of 2024 because
Night Swim. Yeah, I don't know why you chose to watch that. Maybe Carrie Condon.
When your friend from high school wants to go to a movie and you have a month before you go back to California, you say yes.
I guess that was really the only thing that you got
to together. Well, it was an hour and a half. And listen,
it could have been like a fun laugh. I love
Megan, but last year Megan was okay. So you never know. It had Carrie.
Hopefully, it's a good year for horror. Last year was a really bad year for horror, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year's good. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think Five Nights at Freddy's is up there with Flash as some of the worst stuff I've seen this past year.
Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon was bad too, but I don't know if that's quite on that level.
Oh yeah. If it's a comedy, it was the best movie of the year.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. With Golden Globes in 2 days, I know you didn't attend the predictions. Do you have any out there thoughts you want to throw out there?
Listen, I just think it's really interesting to see where this voting body ends up. We're gonna get a real taste of where the new members
I think they'll be more criticky.
So listen, I think Oppenheimer's going to do very well. I'm really interested to see if Barbie or Poor Things pulls out Best Picture.
I switched because in the video I did Barbie. I actually think I'm going to do Poor Things, and Barbie will win the box office achievement one, which could go to Taylor Swift because, like, I don't know. Do you think Barbenheimer could like split box office votes?
This is why, like, I don't. What?
It's so stupid.
Are we awarding like projections? Because Taylor Swift was an achievement, but like Barbie is one of the highest gross movies at the domestic box office of all time. So that was an achievement. But then Oppenheimer.
But Taylor Swift went around the studios and distributed it with AMC.
But are they really thinking? What does this category mean?
What they're thinking is, can we get Taylor Swift to attend our show and give a speech?
And just give Taylor Swift the honorary you keep coming up with honorary awards like the Carol Burnett
That's what they
Comedy
should do.
Award. Just do the Taylor Swift Honorary Cat Award and just give it to one of her cats every year, and that's how you get her to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know if she would go to that.
And then
Maybe.
Detective Olivia Benson can be the first honoree, and
Mhm.
then you can. That's how you get her. That's how you
Yeah.
get her Globes every year.
Yeah, but I did switch to, I think Poor Things, especially if they're being more criticky, could win comedy over Barbie.
Yeah.
Because what do you have winning screenplay is the one thing I'm curious about, because I don't know what's winning there. I went with Poor Things, but I'm not confident. Could be Barbie. I think it could be maybe even Past Lives. But it's tricky.
I'm gonna go. Oh, I don't know, because who are the Globes anymore?
We'll get a very good idea on Sunday.
I think it's Barbie or Past Lives. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Barbie. I'm gonna go
Flip a
Barbie
coin.
because I think
Barbie?
Emma Stone will take care of Poor Things, and then it'll be Poor Things has actress, Barbie has screenplay. Who has? Because let's put it
would be.
If Poor Things win picture, they're going to want Barbie to win something other than song, and that will be screenplay.
Mm-hmm. It would be weird if Barbie wins comedy musical for the only other thing for it to win to be song.
Yeah, so I'll go.
I think it would then. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. You and your friend should have watched Saltburn. I agree, but I imagine you've already seen it.
I think 3 times, and I've seen
3
it
times. I've also seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
Once in theaters, 2 on Amazon Prime. It's very watchable. It's very watchable.
Oh yeah.
And Jordan's got Past Lives for screenplay. I could see. I think that's definitely a top 3 contender. I think it'll win the Oscar. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for an amazing stream. Thank you, Jordan, for all of your super chats. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Really, everybody's generosity.
Yes.
You make it fun for us even without the money, and now the money is nice. I guess we got this for us.
This is new. I didn't honestly expect the first stream where it to happen for it to happen.
We were like probably gonna have
20
Oscar reactions or the nominations, something big.
Yeah.
Listen, what's bigger than the BAFTA long list and the Guild predictions?
Yeah, exactly. I just I think it's, what is the number? The number is, I believe, 31 super chats during this live stream.
Wow.
If I'm looking at it right. So wow, that is insane. I didn't expect that at all. Very, very nice early New Year gift, or late Christmas gift, or early Christmas gift, whatever you want to talk about.
Early President's Day gift.
Early President's Day gift. Early Mean Girls Day gift.
Woo! Wednesday. Let's go.
Is it this Wednesday?
Maybe not, because we have a lot of episodes. No, we'll probably react.
Definitely before next Wednesday. But yes, thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. Jordan, everyone else who commented or super chatted, I believe Black Toad and Yellow Gal were also people who super chatted. There may have been others. Utaka, yes, of course. Thank you all for watching. We covered everything, I think. We'll be back very soon for Golden Globe stuff. And then we got SAG nominations, DGA nominations, PGA nominations, and then we're going to have to fit in our Emmy predictions sometime soon before those happen, well as
we're done. Succession and the Bear. We're good.
Succession, Bear. Yeah, well, it'll be a quick video, hopefully. And then we've also got to do our supporting categories breakdown for actor and actress. Melton will make it in. We'll have a discussion to be. We'll probably do that. We'll probably record that after
turn
SAG.
You to the dark side and you join Emily Blunt. Do you support a Nolan woman?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. That's one way to put it. She should, like Melissa Leo, consider a campaign that should be Emily Blunt's campaign. And Frasier making it number 2. Thank you, Frasier Porman. We really appreciate all of you. This was an amazing stream. And we'll see you very soon for all of the stuff that's happening next
week. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you all. Happy New Year. Thank you all so much for watching. Great time. And we'll see you very soon.
Bye-bye.